The Stand 2020, breaking down the good, the bad, and the apocalypse. This is the most paradoxical, crazy show I've ever seen. And I mean that in the worst way. Comparing The Stand, the new miniseries, with the old miniseries. Why am I laughing? Because the new miniseries is mind-bogglingly bad. It's so bad that I would recommend watching it just to figure out how it could be so bad. There's you could learn a lot from good filmmaking about storytelling, but you can also learn from this kind of crap. Like, how do you do this? How do you make it this bad? And I'm going to just list, it's hard to find something good to talk about it, but I'm going to list, why it's bad. I still haven't figured it out entirely, but I'll do my best here. Oh, and when I said it's hard to find out what's good to talk about, I meant, about why it's so bad. It's so bad. How do you say something interesting about how bad it is, right? That's what I meant. Okay, so by far the worst thing about this is the characters are just so poorly done. Stephen King's strength is that he makes his characters somewhat they all have a tick of some sort. Like, they've got a stupid saying that they repeat, like MOON, that spells moon. It's cheesy, it's cheap, but it works, but they don't do that at all here. This video won't make as much sense to anybody who hasn't seen the original miniseries, but every single character, okay, Franny, played by Molly Ringwald originally. This one, I don't even remember her. She doesn't do anything. Not that Molly Ringwald was one of the weaker characters, Franny, but she's still more memorable. But okay, the Trash Can Man, Matt Frewer played him, and he was awesome. And he'd go bomb-de-bomb, and he'd say, my life for you, and he's so memorable in that role. And he's a great actor. Maybe we just had better actors back then. This Trash Can Man is that douche from Justice League that played the Flash. I forget his name. It doesn't matter. I don't want to know his name. And he played the guy in the new Harry Potter little douche, Ezra Miller. And he's just so boring, and they don't give you... I don't know how to... James Marsden plays Stu Redman. He doesn't have anything... They give nobody anything to do. It's like going through let's make this as uneventful and uninteresting as possible. Okay, so I apologize. It's really hard to put this into words, but I'm going to think about it a little bit. Okay, so basically you want to have memorable scenes, right? The Batman, The Dark Knight had memorable Joker scenes where everybody can think of 5 of them or 10 of them. And the original Stand, okay, for example, Harold Lauder, there was a hilarious scene in the original where he's playing disco music while he's putting a bomb together, and Nadine comes in and she starts talking to him, and he's like, Nadine, how many times do I have to tell you, don't bother me when I'm listening to my disco? And I can remember, it's hilarious and it's awesome. Whereas in this one, I don't know, he just builds the bomb. There's nothing memorable whatsoever. And I guess maybe if you're approaching a Stephen King project, you should understand that he's cheesy and very sentimental. He writes bullshit, but it works as bullshit if you treat it as such. But this show tries to treat everything very dry and serious. And Stephen King, he's not a profound dude. A very wise thing I said once was, in order to poke holes in something, it has to have substance around it. You're assuming it has substance around it. So there's nothing to poke holes in. The whole thing is one big hole. The director, I was actually astounded at how bad this thing was. So I looked him up because I'm like, who the hell is this idiot? I think he's done nothing before. He'll certainly do nothing again. And obviously he's got a rich daddy who helped him out, because this is just the most uninspired thing I've seen maybe ever. I mean, I can only generalize because it's just so bad in every, so boring. It's not even bad. Like if it was bad, you could at least hate it, right? This is just like, okay, give the character the lines. Let's just go through the motions. Let's be as boring as possible. I'm trying. I'm racking my brain trying to think of a scene where that's a good example of how they screwed up, but it was so unmemorable. I can't even remember anything almost. Okay, well, I guess I'll move on from how shitty all the characters were. I feel so sorry for the actors. Move on from that. Okay, here's a big thing, is that the coolest part of The Stand is the evil characters. For some reason, this Einstein, this Charles Dickens, this wonderful filmmaker, decided to focus on all the most boring good characters. So we spend like 90% of the whole thing in butt fuck. All the losers, all the boring people. Trash Can Man's like in it for maybe 5 minutes. That's actually, I think that's important. None of it, almost nothing is, no attention is paid to the cool characters, the villains, the evil people that are screwed up. Yeah, and so I think I'm on to something here. Okay, so 90% of it is watching boring as hell, nice people bonding in the most boring ways that boring people bond. We're, hi, you're very nice. Can I help you with that? Can I get the door for you? Is practically 90% of this thing. Yeah, that's the biggest failing. 90% is spent on the most boring of the characters. But even then, they could have made them a little less than boring. You know what? This is all on the writer, whoever it was. He made it all creatively bankrupt. Nobody had one good line in the whole thing. You can't even give a good one-liner to anybody. Even the dog. I remember the dog better from the original miniseries than this one. I don't even remember what this dog looked like. That's right, even the dog got a shitty role in this movie. This mini-series. And how do you have 9 hours to flesh this thing out? I'm wondering what did they do how did you pass these 9 hours, 9 episodes or something, right? How did you not manage to let us get to know anybody or care about anybody? What happened? What transpired throughout all of this? It's like I was abducted by aliens. Was this lost time? What happened? Greg Kinnear, I've liked him in many things, plays Glenn Bateman, I think, and I don't remember anything he did. Nothing at all. I think he liked some kind of like poetry. Oh my god! And James Marsden, holy shit, dude! As if you weren't already like boring as hell, like as Cyclops in X-Men. Well, you got some more boring shit in this one. Jesus. At least Garrett James Marsden plays Stu Redmond, right? Who's a boring character. But at least Gary Sinise, when he played Stu Redmond in the original, at least he got like a confrontational scene where he got to show that he had some kind of like personality of some sort. Randall Flagg, right? The coolest villain from the first one. He's pretty damn cool villain. Like, I gotta hand it to Stephen King. Very cool villain. Well, in this one, he just stands there and hovers the whole time from his, condominium. It's essentially all he does. Lloyd is Randall Flagg's right-hand man, played by, I forget his name, but he's the cousin of George Clooney. He died. He was in Iron Man 3. He played the president. No, he played the guy that sold out the president, the vice president in Iron Man 3. He's awesome. He was in RoboCop. He's a fucking awesome guy. Actor. And, what was I going to say? Lloyd was my favorite character in the original miniseries because he is loyal to Randall Flagg no matter what. He's like, when everybody else is leaving, he's like, I said I was here. I'm staying. I'm staying no matter what. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going down with the ship. I'm going down. He saved me. I'm on Randall Flagg's side. So Lloyd, loyal Lloyd. I'm pretty sure his name is Lloyd because he's loyal. And whereas in this one, he's just this dork, this like mid-20s loser who just wants to get laid. And all he wants to do is have sex. He's just enjoying the fact that he's got, but he doesn't actually do anything, right? Actually, nobody does anything in this thing. I mean, okay, so none of the characters had, and again, I'm getting back to the character because that's like the key of Stephen King, right? None of the characters has any time to shine. They don't have a moment. Nobody. They don't have a cool moment where they get to interact or... Okay, and finally, the most obvious thing is that this thing is told non-linear. So you basically have... The main story is like everybody hanging out in the most boring part of the book where they're just hanging out trying to... I don't even know what you call it. The place where they're trying to rebuild society. The good people, right? That's the main story. And everything else, like the backstories, are all brought in later. So you don't really... some of the reviews that I saw, they were like, if you've never read The Stand or seen the original miniseries, you would not have any idea what's going on. And even though I did watch the original miniseries, I still didn't know, are we in the present or the past? That was a great decision. Then I suppose the crowning unachievement is that it's a movie about a virus, and it came out, a show about a virus. It came out while we have a virus, and it was still boring as hell. I mean, okay, and essentially, I watched it once, only once, in December, January, and I don't remember much of it. But I think I should watch it again just because this should be taught in schools in terms of how to make something terrible. In film school, in story writing class. And I've only touched on it because it's astoundingly bad. Or maybe they shouldn't teach it in film school because there's nothing there. But I cut myself a lot of slack actually for... Essentially, this whole review is just about... It's a review of watching paint dry. How much can you say about it? I swear to God, this show is an enigma. Because... imagine the most exciting scene you can imagine. Like Darth Vader telling Luke Skywalker, I'm your father. And then you think, okay, how could I make this as boring and uneventful as possible? Okay, we'll have it happen off screen. We'll have Princess Leia go, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's a good cheeseburger. I'm eating a good cheeseburger right now. Oh, by the way, so I heard something about like Darth Vader saying that, Luke Skywalker is his son and he cut his hand off. But anyways, we got a cheeseburger over here. Essentially, that's what they're doing. They couldn't have done a better job at making this boring. Well, actually, okay, and while we're going to say that we're going to give the big reveal about Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's father, let's do it somewhere in the beginning at like the most boring part. Let's not do it at the climax. And we'll have C-3PO, step on a pile of bantha shit right when Princess Leia is saying it. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say. The only thing is, how did this guy... Who let this happen? The actors must have been miserable and thinking, what the hell is this? And I would bet money, if I had any, I would bet money that dude who made this was the son of some producer and he just got this for free. Because nobody should be allowed to waste money like this. If you support gays, click like. If you respect blacks, comment. If you think women are people too, click the notification bell. And if you care about sick children, subscribe. If you support gays, click like. If you respect blacks, comment. If you think women are people too, click the notification bell. And if you care about sick children, subscribe.